Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Oh my gosh, it's Tuesday again already. Greetings to you from the Today Show. I'm Dr. Laurie Davis, your host, and my good friend, Dr. Ramin Modiri. And we always get together on Tuesdays. Hi, Ramin. How are things in California this morning?
Good morning. It's wonderful to be back. It's beautiful, warm,
Hmm.
and yes, very much blessed. So
Right
it's good to be
on.
here.
Well, do you know what today is, Ramin?
Mm.
I can't believe it, but 32 years ago today, I
Wow.
opened my doors for business. 32
Awesome.
years ago in this business. Wow. Where did that, lots of water under that bridge, I'll tell you.
That's right.
The
That
ups,
is
the
wonderful.
downs, all the sideways, the distractions. But yeah, 32 years ago today. And we're pretty excited and proud of that because a lot of people didn't survive, COVID and other
Yes.
setbacks in their business. I believe I shared on the show the other day 250 million businesses went down during COVID. Unbelievable, right? Yeah. But you have something exciting planned for us today. Well, first of all, before we get started, we should let everybody know that we're streaming live on Laurie Davis Facebook page, um, YouTube, two channels on YouTube. One, Laurie Davis show host, and the other one, 5 Minutes to No Limits. Those two channels. Also, the Disability Channel Facebook page. Um, your home TV. Your home TV doesn't do live streaming with us, but they take our shows and once a week they pick the best show of the week or they edit some shows and we're on there once a week as an archived broadcast. So we're very grateful to all of our supporters, the Disability Channel, Your Home TV. We just have so many. Sirius XM. We do brief show with them once a week. It's just amazing how across the board we are right now. And so I would encourage all of our viewers to, when you finish watching the show, go into the Facebook page or wherever you want, YouTube, put a comment because that helps our ratings, and then share the show on your personal page. And then we have no idea where that will end up or where it will go. Right now, the numbers are climbing every week, and we're very appreciative and grateful for that because you never know what somebody might say on this show that could change your life. Like today, Ramin's going to share secrets. I love secrets. And um, the 7 secrets of the best traders and investors. And I bet you it not only applies to that, I bet we could take those 7 secrets, would you say, and apply them without even hearing them yet. And knowing you and who you are and how you like to approach things, we're probably going to be able to apply them to many parts of our life. Would I be correct in that?
You're absolutely right. Yes. My passion is like sports and finance and how great models of life they are. So, yes,
Mhm.
you're absolutely right.
Well, there you
Great.
go. If
Into it.
this doesn't work for me, I'm going to hang out my psychic shingle. Right?
Uh,
Predicting. All right. So I'm just going to turn the mic over to you. I've got my notepad ready, and I would encourage our viewers to get your notepad ready. And also, I just want to thank everybody for your support last week. I had to be away. I had an opportunity to go up north and work with some really fabulous clients at a beautiful resort. So, just putting a word out there for the Peter Ballantyne Child and Family Services cultural camp. I had a chance to be there on Deschambault Lake. It was gorgeous, and I just would love for everybody to have that opportunity. So I just jumped at that and I thought, you know what? You can all do without me for a week. So if you're having Lori withdrawal, don't worry. We're back and over to you, Ramin. Take it away.
nice. Awesome. Yes. So, what we're gonna like, as you correctly mentioned, we're gonna talk about secrets, and I call it 7 secrets of the greatest investors and traders. And as you, again, currently mentioned, it applies to all aspects of life. I'll start with the story because we started with investing, and especially when it comes to people always think about stocks, think about real estate, but like stocks comes into picture. Let me start with this little story by Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett is one of the greatest investors ever. So he goes, when you buy and sell, when you buy stocks, you get into a partnership with this psychotic partner called Mr. Market. And it is manic depressive because one day the market is all manic, all happy, and you say, well, would you buy my stock at this price? And he's all happy. Yeah, come on in. I'm going to buy, if it's $100, yeah, I'll pay for that. So they're very happy to offer you whatever you ask. And that's the secret, that's the time you actually sell. When everything is everybody's enthusiastic, the market is happy. And that's just very counterintuitive, right? So we want to be part of that train ride. On the other hand, there are times that the markets are, Mr. Market is down, is, depressed. He goes, oh, you know, I gonna sell my thing for like really cheap. Everybody's down. So we as a consumer, as investors, say, oh, we are so negative. We shouldn't buy this. And that's the really time that you get in when everybody's down, market is really depressed. And again, it's very counterintuitive. So what we do as investors, we buy at really high and we sell as really low. So when everybody's happy and everybody's, again, the market is in a really good mood, we start buying. And that's a good time to actually sell. So I started with that because human nature, as much as we study, we talk about, all these technical knowledge and intelligence, it's all about our nature. And that's I want to start with that story to tell you the markets are psychotic and nobody can predict them. The only thing we're in control is what we could do. So with that in mind, I want to share some of the secrets of some of the greatest. When you think about investors, you think about, again, Warren Buffett, John Templeton, who's my hero. He was, the pioneer in global investing. When you think about trading, you think of Jesse Livermore's of the world or Paul Tudor Jones. And so if we're ready, we can go to my 7 secrets. And I'll start with number 1. So what makes them so special that their wealth becomes in hundreds of billions of dollars? What did they apply? And again, you correctly mentioned it applies in life. Number 1, they are independent thinkers and emotionally detached. And those are 2 important things because, again, what we like to follow the public because we don't want to be the lone wolf or there. So they don't have this tribal gene. They don't have this herd mentality. And they're not affected, as I mentioned with the story, by extreme moments of fear and exuberance. When everybody's greedy, they're part of that. When everybody's afraid, they're part. No, these successful traders and investors, they stay away from that. So when everybody has this herd mentality and they're looking for this emotional comfort because they're part of the group, we call it contrarian. They go outside of the realm. And, as a matter of fact, they don't even care about other people's emotions. They follow their own. And we will talk more about that. So they're not really aware of that. And that's one of the really interesting things about Warren Buffett. He's in Omaha, Nebraska, far away from Wall Street, New York. He still, reads his paper, 2 hours of reading, sometimes in the morning. But he's with real people. He's not with that herd mentality and Wall Street. I'll share one little story, my years in Wall Street. A lot of times we have to remember like these stock analysts, again, you think about Wall Street, uh, you think, oh, these are all successful investment bankers or invest or analysts. You know what? They go to the same restaurants, they go to same bars, they sit down and talk to each other. So they kind of, that herd mentality starts right there, and nobody wants to be the black sheep, right? So everybody follows. So they say, well, Apple is a buy. Well, I say, oh, okay, yes, let's go buy Apple. And that's why, like someone like Warren Buffett stays away from that. He's not part of the boys group. As a matter of fact, there have been studies done. I did a whole class one day, and on the covers of magazines and newspapers, over the years, we've done the studies. So it's amazing when the cover of like Business Week or Economist or Barron's, it says, you got to do this. We are going to go to the moon. That's exact time that you do the opposite. So basically, when they tell you what to do, you go the other way. And there have been many studies done on that. And again, as human beings, we don't want to be contrarian. So far, that's number one. Number two is, this is very important, and anyone I work with, it is a key in life, actually, success, whether you're a graduating student or you're an entrepreneur, that is self-awareness and a set of core beliefs. All these traders and investors have that. For instance, they have a trading system or investing system that fits them. A lot of times we get frustrated. We watch a YouTube or we read a book and they say, oh, you're going to make millions of dollars and follow this. It doesn't match our personality. So we are constantly in conflict. So you have to really sit back and sit down and see who you are. What are your values, your core values, and fix it on that, or match it with that, with your investing or trading system. So they know that, the methodology that works for them and what it doesn't. So we have to have both. As I mentioned, I cannot have this idea about risk, but inside, I have this conflict. I read the book, you're going to do this, take this much risk. You really have to either go out of your comfort zone or you have to really accept it. So that's and the most important thing is they know what not to do. My God, again, we force it in ourselves. And late Charles Munger, which is, Warren Buffett's partner and one of the most brilliant men that I've listened to, he died, I think it's right before his 100th birthday. And he calls this standard stupidity. Not to do. And we do, we still do the things we are not supposed to do. And again, it happens in relationships.
Yeah.
It happens in careers, in even going to school, choosing the things that we shouldn't. So anyway, these are like more of a common sense, but believe me, they can cost you millions of dollars if you're not aware of it. As a matter of fact, Warren Buffett has a code. He says, the best investments you can make is an investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you'll earn. And again, we go and learn about just the technical things and we forget who we are. And that's what we need to understand, our self-value, our core values, our self-worth. Because once we don't have that, and we've talked about this many times, and it's been a common theme. I've known a lot of traders, they become self-sabotaged. They are very smart. They are master of what they are doing, and yet they just lose it all. And that's that self-sabotage. So it goes back again, understanding what's up there and what's in your heart. All right. So how are we doing so far? Are we, is it?
Well, I love this. What my takeaway right now so far is this standard stupidity. I think that's priceless. It's like, Oh my gosh. How many times have I been caught up in that? And that came from, like you just said, a lack of a belief in myself, always doubting myself or questioning my decisions and thinking, well, who better to make a business decision in my business than me? Having been here for 32 years, I think I've learned a few things, right? So not to be constantly second guessing myself.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We have a comment here. Let's see who's here. Oh, Kathy. She said, this is really interesting. Yes, the 7 secrets of investing are actually the 7 secrets of a good life, I'd say. So I'm listening up. I'm new. Oh, look at this. Kathy added also, I knew a trader. His daughter was my friend. He lost it all. Yeah, just
Yes.
what we're talking about. Back to you, Ramin. Number
Oh,
3.
number three. It's interesting that it goes against the grain. They are extremely patient because, again, it goes back to that self-belief. Sometimes when we think about successful entrepreneurs, yes, there are times that you should be impatient because you don't want to do the daddle constantly analyzing them. There's a difference. These investors, especially again in Warren Buffett or Charles Munger, they are very good at waiting for the opportunity to present itself. And sometimes, again, we are so impatient that we don't want to wait for the right moment, the right value. So we actually go fishing and we try to force the things. So in our world, in the markets, when, like for instance, even in trading, there are days that I didn't trade because the market was not appropriate at that time for what I was looking for. So in trading, we say, let the markets come to you rather than you constantly forcing it. Again, it's like fishing. You go and, sometimes they're not good, the birds are not flying, the seagulls are not there. Well, there's no fishing opportunity. So we don't have to force it. So the patience. And again, I talk to especially our younger audience. A lot of times we think that we have to do this. No, you have to wait for the right time. Everything is about timing. Another problem we have in trading or investing, especially if we make an income, we have like a daily income from that. It's very different than a daily routine. And again, especially our traders have difficulty with that. When we work for something, like we go 9 to 5, we get paid per hour, right? So what we equate success or getting paid is based on the hours that we work. Although there are times that out of 8 hours, there are some people who only work 1 hour, but on paper shows 8 hours. But what happens is out of that 8 hours, we think that, well, this is what I get paid for. In basically, when it comes to trading, is based on outcome. So you can actually work for 5 minutes, and then what happens is you can make as much money as 8 hours or 80 hours. So that's our next one. So I just lost you for a second.
Mhm.
Excellent. So ready for number 4?
Yes.
All right. Number 4 is, again, applies in life. Discipline. Oh my goodness. This is, again, in business and entrepreneurship. It is amazing. Every one of them, they understand the rules. We got to have set up the rules and they follow them. Again, in trading, as I mentioned, we want to match it to our characteristics, to our self core beliefs, and they match it and they have a discipline and they follow it. So they're not like the wind moving from one place to another, justifying their decisions. When things go bad, they say, oh, it's going to get better, and then they just wait and wait. They keep losing money. They justify it. Oh, it's only on the paper. The things will come back. No, what all these investment trade, they have a absolute discipline. When they put a system in, they stick with it. So They say, you know what, if I lost 2% or 5% or 8% of my uh, investment, or like on this stock trade, I'm out. This is my system, and I can come back another day. Unfortunately, again, a lot of the average investors, for instance, what they do when it goes down to 8, they say, well, I'll just wait it out. Oh, actually, I will buy more because it's cheaper now. It goes down to 10. They're losing 20%. They're losing 30%. And then this panic comes in, and they keep saying no. This hope and finding religion comes into the picture. All of a sudden, they believe in God and they start praying and they say, God, if this stock comes back to even, I will never do this again. I will go to church or mosque or synagogue. I will become a good spiritual leader. Just make it. Doesn't work. When you have that discipline, you can sleep at night. And they have found it's a methodology that it works for them. And again, they apply it and they keep that to their approach. Okay. Do we need any breaks, or are we good? We can.
Yeah, we're going to just take a little break if you don't mind.
Okay. No,
Great. Yes. Just want to say that this is our time when we're going to get used to having a commercial break or an advertiser. So we'll just do our little 30-second, and I'm having a little challenge with my background here. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, here it is. We're still here, and that's all that matters. We'll be right back.
Make my own ways to pass the time. They'll never know the freedom of playing out in the world. With all the crime and violence, they're always being observed. Thank God I was an 80s child. Gen X, we were pretty wild. Riding our bikes all over town. Staying out after the sun went down. At the mall with all our friends.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Today Show this morning. And of course, on Tuesdays, we're talking money, finance. But today is really especially interesting, listening to the 7 secrets of the best investors and traders. And as you're sharing, Ramin, I'm thinking, well, that applies to me in this part of my life, and that applies to me in that part of my life, and not just particularly around investing, but thank you for bringing these to the front burner to remind us all of certain things that we are, could be engaging in that are not producing or supporting us, right?
Right.
Over to you.
Absolutely. All right. So we are number 5. Again, I think this applies in all aspects of business and other things, but it's specifically in trading and investing. And number 5 is risk control. Now, again, these traders, investors, they understand losing is a part of a game. And this is a huge key, because we as human beings, we've been programmed since our childhood that you cannot fail. You cannot make a mistake. I get a B in my class. My parents are disappointed. Why you didn't get an A? So that failure has such a negative connotation that we feel shame when we are losing something or we are failing, whether it's the business or our grades. And it applies when it comes to trading and investing. We cannot face it that we bought a stock, for instance, and the next day it's going down and keeps going down. And we feel that, you know what, it's on paper. If I stick with it, it will eventually come back. So I'm not a failure. So all of a sudden, that idea of why am I in business for goes out the window. It's all about who I am. Oh, I'm not a failure. I'm a successful person. I cannot face it to tell, Joe or Shmo, and I got into this trade and I lost money. So we stick with it. And unfortunately, what happens is we end up losing more and more. And as correctly Kathy mentioned, there are many people who have lost everything. It was not because they were not intelligent. It was not because they were not good business people. It just that shame or guilt or accepting the fact that, there's risk in everything we do. And what happened is because of that, they stick with it. and the ego comes into the picture. And because of that, it happens in relationships, it happens in marriages. You know it's wrong, and that's your risk, and you just constantly you denying yourself. The same thing in investing. So one thing I do when I do in the trading, this is the major rule, or investing. I know one out of the three trades or investments I do mentally, it's not going to work out. I accept that. As long as I have accepted that I will be successful 67% of the time, or 70%, and 30% is not going to work out, I'm still ahead, right? 70 to 30.
Yeah.
If I uh, risk that 30%, I'm still going to gain 70. So as long as we accept that and knowing that failure or mistakes are part of lives, we become successful. I mean, when you think back, I can share with you, it was in early 2012 or so. It's like Warren Buffett, he did a trade on silver, for instance, and he lost $500 million in like a couple of 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
So Warren Buffett has lost quite a few investment ideas. The thing is, he's successful in so many other things that he just packs up and says, okay, I lost some money here, but I gained triple, quadruple here. So as long as we accept that, we will be successful. And again, that goes back again. I appreciate what Kathy mentioned, is that rigid risk control has to be in place. And it's very counterintuitive. And a lot of traders, which about 90 to 95% of traders, they fail within a year. They're out of business because this one simple fact that they cannot control the risk, or they cannot accept it. It's funny, when we make money or when we are successful trading, we are on the horn and we tell every single person how wonderful we are. It was my trade, I doubled my money, and when the things go wrong, we don't want to talk to anyone, because they come and ask, how did you do it? Oh yeah, I'm in it for a long run. Well, long run, in the meantime, you've lost 90% of your whatever you've had. It doesn't work that way. You have to have fundamental reasons. Go ahead.
Well, that kind of sounds similar to, when we teach or share how to help people set their goals. We've got this idea that everything has to be 100% in order for it to be right. And even if you set a goal, maybe it's to lose some weight or to save money or whatever it is, as long as you can see a 60 to 70% chance of it going that way that you want, then go for it. You don't have to have the guarantees all the time. And I believe that's part of what stops us from doing certain things, especially in the money department, because we don't have that guarantee, that 100% stamp on the thing that it's going to work out. So that's the same when we just set simple goals around personal, for personal reasons. As long as you just know that, yeah, there's a 60 to 70% chance that'll work out for me, then just go for it, and it will.
No, wonderful. I mean, that's a great observation, because it happens again, not only in life, that perfectionism, I want to line up everything and everything. And you know what? We never take actions. And again, I see that in trading. I see that in investing. I would say half of the students that I work, and I can tell you, they're much more intelligent than I am. And they have every tool. They've brought up in a great environment. They've gone to the best schools. But when it comes to decision makings, oh my God, I'd rather have someone who has, just a high school graduate, who is a smart, street savvy, and knows exactly his limits. He takes the risks, which is part of life, but he knows exactly the calculated risk, where he's going to go and when he's not, and doesn't have that fear of failure. So all of a sudden, I tell you, as a first child, it applies a lot more when you have this, you have to be this perfect child, for instance, or what, and it doesn't work. And unfortunately, when it comes to trading and investing, it's a very lonely world out there, Dr. Laurie. What happens is you are by yourself against the markets in a way, which we shouldn't be against the markets. You've got to be with the markets in a sense. So what happens is nobody around you to bounce off. It's like to complement you. It's you. I have to tell you, you're completely naked when you're playing, investing and trading. It's like one-on-one. So basically, all the negativity that is happening in your mind comes out, and it muddles everything, and all the things that you had, the mistakes you have made. So it's very difficult when you think of it that way. And that's why it's so important to have that discipline, to make sure you stick with it, the risk control, write them down. And when I say write them down, again, you know how the physical writing with hands is so important. And just stick on your on your monitor, risk control. So, and these are simple things I'm sharing with you, but it could have saved millions of dollars for a lot of people that they are in a unfortunately in the wrong place. So.
All right. Well, let's take a little break, and then when we come back, because maybe there are people just joining us, when we come back, maybe you could just briefly go over the first 5 that we did. Sure. And talking today with Dr. Ramin about secrets, the 7 secrets of the best traders and investors, starting out with Warren Buffett. We couldn't have a better example.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more information just shortly. We'll take a little break. Awesome. Because this is where, if you have a product, an event, a cause, a book, you can contact me. I'll put my contact info up, and just get in touch with me to talk about. We have a beautiful promotional package that we're almost complete to offer you the best deal in the world to get your product, program, and service out there. Right now is a good time. All right, we'll be right back.
Never learned the feeling of riding a half pipe 6 feet high, busting their butts and getting back on to take another ride. Thank God I was an 80s child. Gen X, we were pretty wild, riding our bikes all over town, staying out after the sun went down, at the mall with all our friends, in the arcade till our money was spent. We're about sometimes alone.
Welcome back, everyone. This is my contact information if you want to get in touch with me about the show, anything about the show. This is the Today Show here on the Disability Channel, and we're talking today about the 7 secrets of the top investors and traders. And I would say these are 7 rules for life in general. So what were the first 5, Ramin? You want to just give us a little rundown?
Absolutely. Number 1, I have to tell you that, number 7 is very endearing to me. I think it's in a lot of cultures, and I know it's very important to you. So 7, I really like that. Especially when I used to play soccer, that was one of my favorite numbers, and I used to have that. So it's endearing. So a lot of things I do is with like 7s. So that's why we have the 7 secrets. But let's start with we've done 5. We've got 2 more to go. So the number 1, these great traders, investors, they are independent thinkers, and they're emotionally detached. And this is very important. They don't have this herd mentality. That's number 1. Number 2, which is, again, it applies in life, it's the self-awareness, and they have a set of core beliefs which they stick with it. Now, from Ray Dalio, who ran the largest hedge fund, he has written a book which every employee has to read. It's called Principles. Warren Buffett has very clear core beliefs, and that's what they are successful because they stick with that. They know who they are. The number 3 is extreme patience. They understand in order, again, I use the example of fishing. Number 4, they have a discipline, which is easier said than done. And number five, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to trading and investing, is the risk control. So with that in mind, I'm going to go to number 6, and we can come back. I have some quotes that I like to share. Number 6, and this again applies again. I think about our youth. I think about entrepreneurs, business owners, relationship, is that positive self-belief. And as I mentioned, when you're trading, when you're going in investing, you're really on your own. So they have confidence in their trading system. And again, it's easier said than done, because we are bombarded with so much information, with the social media, everything. Everybody's about this short-term instant gratification and becoming, in 3 days you become multimillionaire, in a month you can. So you constantly have this desire and these urges that, oh, this is great, and then it doesn't work, you jump to this, no. Once they know they have this trading system which is working for them, they're pretty confident in that. And again, remember, we talked about the risk management. They know there's always a risk, and they have accepted it. So this trading system doesn't have to be 100%. The other thing they have, that positive self-belief, brings them this driving desire. They really have this desire to do, and they love what they do. And it's not a forced thing. It is not, I'm not saying they're doing it for fun, because it's important they understand this is a business, so it's not, but they actually enjoy doing what they are doing. And that's, again, when I talk to our younger, graduating students, a lot of times they call me and we talk about it. It's important to get the experience, but at the end of the day, you got to do what your passion is. And if you're doing trading, it's really hard on you and it's like forced, maybe this is not for you. So that's another. And number 7, it's important because it comes back to, again, entrepreneurship and other parts of our life. You got to be serious about this business. When you go to the, again, this goes back, you mentioned about COVID. During the COVID, people obviously didn't have many places to go, no jobs to attend. They're at home. Government checks are coming. All of a sudden, everybody became successful trader or investor, because now they have this extra money. I'm 20 years old. I'm sitting at home and, no school to go. And then there's these Robinhood accounts are open, and oh my God, I can click and buy stock and sell tomorrow. Oh my God, I made $20 or $200 or $2,000. Oh, how easily can it be? Well, things turned around a couple of years later. The money dried out, all that excitement went away. So they have to take complete responsibility. And that's what these investors, Warren Buffett is very accountable, whatever decision he made. And if our audience are interested, they should go listen to Warren Buffett's his annual shareholders meeting. It used to start with, I think, like 30 or 40 people. And it's like multi-thousands now from all over the world. People come in, and him and Charles Munger, that was just magnificent when they would sit together. And it used to be like 2 hours. Now it's like 8-hour event. This is their fit. Outside, it's like a fair. It's thousands of people are just together, and they have some of the most wonderful conversations. And one of the things is they really accountable to all, they just don't talk about their successes. They talk about some of the mistakes that they made. And the other thing I would say, especially for trading, we so much focus on outcome that we forget it's about the journey. It's about the process. And once you manage that process and doing the right way, which becomes intuitive and at the end autonomous in some ways, then the outcome will come. So it's not that instantly, oh, I didn't make money. Well, remember, there's risks involved. And that's why we have to focus, especially in trading, on finding the right system, learn the process. The same thing when it comes to sports. My sports, as you know, my favorite sports is soccer. It's not about scoring goal all the time. I have to learn all the fundamentals about it, enjoy the game, and scoring obviously would be part of that, which unfortunately some of my favorite teams is the Euro 2024 competition right now. Some of my favorite teams have forgotten how to score, so they should remember what the soccer is all about. So, and uh, basically that's my 7 secrets about trading, and hopefully maybe even farther about life. So
Well, that's amazing because I can see how I would apply every single one of those to my business. So, if you're a business owner, there are 7 things that we need as business owners to be successful. Or if it's about parenting, or if it's about in a relationship, these all apply to everything. So, if we were to apply these 7 investment secrets to everyday life, things would be looking pretty darn good, I'd say. What do you think?
I agree. I agree. It just, saying it and doing it, they're two complete different things. And
Well, that's where number 7 comes in. See,
that's right.
the doing is number 7, taking responsibility.
Yes.
And that's hard sometimes because, life gets in the way
Absolutely.
and things get in the way, and life throws us curve balls and gets us off track. And yeah, it's easy to get distracted. Yes.
Yeah.
So, like even today, I'm being challenged because my background disappeared. So I'm in my bedroom right now with an office because I've got my office occupied. And then my husband went out and left the dog at home, and he was crying at the door. That's why I had to get up and go
Oh,
fetch him. And you see, but you just keep on trucking, right? One
that's
step
right.
ahead of the other. Then I went to, uh, you know, tidy up here in the background a little bit during the break, and here's the dog flopped out on the bed here, like. But the show must go on.
That's
But
right.
that's part of what happens for people, don't you find? They get distracted so easily and then off the rails, and then you have to work twice as hard to get back on the rails. You
That
know
is
anything
such an
about that?
excellent, absolutely. You are. This is such a great example right now. This moment you just explained, and you're
Yes.
absolutely right. Majority of people would have been rattled right now, and that's the risk of running a show. And here you
Yeah.
are managing the risk. And you mentioned doing twice as much, and I go back. That ego people don't want to lose, so they losing. You know, they're down 50% on their money, and they still don't want to accept it. And you absolutely correctly said that they have to work hard, they have to double their money, they have to make 100% to just go back to break even. So if they would have done with that 10%, if they lost 10%, 8%, you know that is manageable. 8%, 12%. But when that ego comes in and they want to be everything perfect, like you would have said, oh, we're going to cancel the show right now because I don't have my right background. And, I just had to just imagine how life would be. How many incomplete projects will be out there?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, Kathy has a question for us, which I think you should be answering. This was something that she did, a statement she made, and then she asked a question. So we'll put the statement up first. I guess a professional trader has more access to company info than an amateur trader, i.e., a person at home with a computer, or can an intelligent amateur trader do well?
Great question, Kathy. Thank you for asking that. As a matter of fact, I have to tell you, maybe 30 years ago, even 25 years ago, the statement will be completely correct. Uh, I remember there were some services I had to pay like $1,000 a month to have access to. But thank God for internet, technology, all the things now. There's a lot of equality in many ways that what has happened, I think the retail investor is becoming equal as far as access to the information because of the instantly you have all the information available to you. All the platforms that you use, the trading accounts, they offer you at a very little cost. I mean, it's been amazing. I remember, Kathy, I would do trades in late 80s in India. I would be on the phone. My phone bill was to the roof. The brokerage would be the commissions I had to pay was to the roof. And they would work 2 hours. The trading desk was open only 2 hours a day for like 3 days a week. The rest was all paperwork and other things. Life was very difficult. I had to do my trades on the phone. And so we are living in a most wonderful time. So yes, as a matter of fact, as a retail investor or trader, if you have the 7 secrets that I shared with you, if you can manage that, you become more successful, as a matter of fact, not as successful, even more successful than a professional, because number one, a lot of professionals, they have this super ego and this ultra confidence that they think they're invincible. You, because you have that humility, you actually will manage your risk, believe it or not, even better. So, and also sometimes when you have a large amount of money to invest, it can move the markets. And when you move the markets, you're very careful. You cannot invest as much. As a smaller investor, as a retail investor, what you could do is you can be in and out without really moving the market. So yes, I mean, if you have, again, your principle correctly, and you do know who you are and what is your core beliefs, and you can manage your risk, you can be pretty successful. And these are the best of times because you have a lot of access to the informations that professionals have. So, and I don't watch, by the way, Kathy, I don't watch CNBC or Fox Business or other things. And you want to stay away from that because that comes that herd mentality. It's good to listen to the business news and know what is happening, but that's that. You don't need opinions of others if you want to be independent in that case. Excellent question. Thank you for asking, Kathy. Thank you.
Good question. That's
Yes.
right. For sure. So we have a little bit of time left. So what else would we like to say about these 7 principles? Well, I would say number 4, discipline. And many people have terrific ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They have things that they want to do, things they want to produce, but they don't realize that you have to have the discipline. And Kathy says, thank you, Ramin, for your answer.
You're welcome.
Discipline. So what's our definition of discipline? What do we think that is, Ramin?
For me, the discipline is, again, first of all, as I mentioned, I believe in writing things, is the clarity and set of rules. We want to have our beginning, what we want to do, and that also, that discipline you correctly mentioned, that's where one of the biggest poisons are procrastination, which comes from that perfectionism, but also lack of discipline. Maybe procrastinate things because we do not have the clear vision what exactly we want to do. For me, the discipline is the guidelines. It's almost like, when we go to IKEA and we buy this whatever, and we have to put it together, there's this set of things to do. And if you follow them correctly, 99%, unless there's like a little mistake, they're missing a screw or something, things work out. It's amazing. You put all these boards, on the floor, and that's all they are, a piece of wood. And then they become this beautiful chest or bureau or desk or whatever. So discipline is actually having a system and at writing guidelines and rules, most important, sticking with it. Because what happens halfway through what we do, we get discouraged because of the lack of feedback, or, again, it's not going our way. But discipline gives us that fuel, in my opinion. So it allows you, that's just a set of rules that you can follow, a system, and having that clear vision, what you want to accomplish. And that's what another problem. I ask the traders, well, what do you want to do? For instance, in trading, we want to know exactly what markets, which will be another maybe class we can do, what markets you want to be investing in. Because some people have favorites. I mean, maybe I'm good in gold, or precious metals, or good in technology or healthcare. And then what amount of capital I want to put in, what is my risk management? And every single one of those, I will write down, okay, how long do I want to be there? Do I want to be there for 5 years, or am I going to be there for 3 months? You cannot negotiate. Discipline doesn't allow you to negotiate. You can be flexible in a good way, but not becoming a crutch, and not making it become an excuse. So for me, that's the discipline, a set of rules that you will follow because you believe that matches your personality, and again, you have a clear vision. I would love to hear yours, because you've been obviously done so many of these self-analysis and other things. So, but that's for me in investing, and discipline comes.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, I think we can all create the rules, no problem, because many of us are actually quite rule bound, in that we have certain expectations or standards for ourselves. But sticking to it, if I decide I want to have, today I'm going to have a health day, and I'm just going to eat plant-based foods, and I'm going to drink my water, and I'm going to go for a couple of walks. That may be my thought process the night before, but that doesn't mean that the next day it's going to happen.
Yes.
So that's the part where we become self-empowered, self-aware, that that was a very good decision I made last night to have a healthy day today. And that's a decision that supports me. Therefore, I need to implement it. I believe we'd make a lot of decisions that don't support us and implement those.
Correct.
Without any problem, right? So for me, it's good, record keeping and having a plan. Like I have my week planned out here, where I need to be and what I need to do, and always a running lists of things to do. And actually, when we took our Millionaires Institute training with Mark Victor Hansen in California many years ago, he told us that we should always have a running list of at least 101 things to keep us disciplined. So even if it's, I need to buy a new toothbrush, or I need to go get my car fixed, doesn't matter what goes on the list. And he actually had a 5-inch D-ring binder with 400 pages in it. That was his list. And then we were to make a list of 101 things that we either needed materially, spiritually, physically, whatever. And we had to come up with the list in 20 minutes at the end of the workshop time. And I was able to do that. And so I just have this constant running list. And the discipline is to make sure that every day I check off at least 6 things. Okay, Kathy has another good question for us. So that's me, discipline. Just do it, like Nike. Just do it. Take action. How can you tell a good investment firm from a bad one? And what are acceptable fees?
We should have a class on this. So yeah, so that's why we maybe talk another time for a good investment, because that is the whole show. I appreciate that show. Acceptable fee, by the way, they've been coming down. If you're doing it on your own, nowadays the platforms you work with, they don't even have commissions. But if you have an advisor, and you want to work with, generally it's negotiable based on the amount of investments under management. Some of the firms 0.5%, 1%. If it's really risky, you go 1.5%. So it's all depends how good that advisor is to work with. But nowadays, if you do it on your own, it's very, very minimal. So I appreciate that. But the good and bad investments, Kathy, that's a show on its own. So maybe that's a good topic. We will do that. So I appreciate the question, and we will do that. Thank you. One thing, I go back to that discipline you just mentioned, Dr. Laurie, about, we have the whole workshop on trading and how to become a successful trader, talking about the system. And we talk about, again, a plan, a trading plan, actually a business plan, trading business plan. But one of the most important things, we call it, and it goes back to what you said, is having a journal. I still have my journals from many years ago, and I still do by hand. There's a lot of electronic ones for free, but we learn so much of the experience of what we have done, and mainly because of the mistakes that we made and the mood. So when I do my journal, for instance, if I had a bad trade, I also want to look at my state of mind, my physical state, what kind of amount of sleep I had. Why did I take this trade? Was it a revenge trade because I was losing? I want to go get back at the market and say, well, I'm better than you. I'm going to defeat you. So having a journal it's very, very important. And it goes back what you said. It keeps us disciplined because now we are accountable to what we are doing. And I just want to mention that because sometimes I look back and I see, oh my God, my journals from 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. The trades, I'm up 3 a.m. What am I doing? I'm doing the currencies or whatever. It's like fun to watch. And hopefully my children will enjoy looking at them, what Dad used to do. So anyway,
Sure.
Okay. Kathy, thank you so much, by the way. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I've heard of revenge sex, but I've never heard of revenge trading.
Oh yes, revenge trading.
All right. Well, our time is just about up, so I just want to thank everybody today for our little glitches. We always have 1 or 2 every show, but we don't really care. And if we don't care, then you shouldn't either. Don't take that on. And we'll look forward to having you back next week, Dr. Ramin, to talk about whatever it is that you come up with. And you always come up with something really fun and enjoyable for people to just think about. And that's what we're doing. That's the purpose of the show, is just to bring some things to the front burner so that you can maybe reassess things or make a different decision or have a better day. Just whatever it is for you today. So thank you so much for all of those items. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you bet. Okay, well, we're going to close things down, close shop, and we'll be back next week. You're watching Money Matters on the Today Show here every Tuesday morning at 9:00 Mountain Time with myself and Dr. Ramin Modiri, our financial guru. We like to call him that, and we'll be back. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you again. Bye.
The Disability Channel would like to thank our existing sponsors. We really appreciate the support and kindness from the BIAs across the GTA, Ontario, Canada, and our friends in the USA. We love making new friends. Thank you for supporting our existing employment programs.